Oil spill. Senate calls for strict enforcement of environmental law to safeguard communities.
We must build a supportive, right-focused educational environment.
Nigeria's education system set for overhaul as National Council on Education pushes for innovation.
We are here to witness the first batch of the repatriation exercise.
And Governor Zulum leads repatriation of over 7,790 Borno refugees from Chad. Good evening and welcome to NTA Network News. I am Jumma Yusuf. On our outlook tonight, Benny Adams will bring us update from the world of sports, especially in the capital markets. Benny, I hear the capital market is positive in the 4 days on now.
4 days on the run, and investors are smiling home with more than 65 billion naira.
Wow, that's great. And while Francisca Biller brings us up to speed with happenings in sport. Meanwhile, our survey tonight seeks opinions on which sector would you have preferred an increase in the 2025 budget address. Is it the power sector, agriculture, health, infrastructure, or education? Join the conversation by scanning the barcode on your screen. Now we begin with developments in the education sector as part of efforts of revitalizing the tertiary education sector for more efficient delivery of research and knowledge. President Tinubu has approved a reorganization of top leadership at some tertiary institutions in the country. Here are the details.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has announced significant leadership changes at several federal universities, including the University of Abuja, now known as Yakubu Gowon University. These changes are effective immediately. At Yakubu Gowon University, President Tinubu dissolved the entire governing council and relieved Professor Aisha Sani Meikudi of her duties as Vice-Chancellor. Senator Lanre Tejosho, currently Pro-Chancellor of the University of Agriculture, Makurdi, has been appointed Pro-Chancellor of the Yakubu Gowon University. He will be succeeded in Makurdi by Senator Joy Modi, now Pro-Chancellor of Alvan Ikoko University of Education. To succeed Meikudi, President Tinubu appointed Professor La Patricia Manko as acting Vice-Chancellor at the Yakubu Gowon University for a 6-month term. She will not be eligible to apply for the substantive Vice-Chancellor position when it becomes available. In addition, President Tinubu has removed Professor Polycarp Emeka Chibu from his position as acting Vice-Chancellor at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, UNN, before his tenure ends on February 14. Professor Ogwejofu Ujam has been appointed as his successor for 6 months and will not be eligible to apply for the permanent position. The leadership changes at the University of Nigeria Nsukka extend to the role of Pro-Chancellor, with General Ike Nwachukwu reassigned to Pro-Chancellor at the University of Uyo. President Tinubu appointed Olubumi Kayode Ojo as the new Pro-Chancellor of UNN. Previously, Ojo held the same position at the Federal University of Lokoja and the Federal University of Oye Ekiti. Professor Zubeiru Tajo Abdullahi, currently the Pro-Chancellor of the University of Uyo, has been appointed to succeed Ojo at the Federal University of Lokoja. Senator Sani Stalls is the new Pro-Chancellor of Alvan Ikoko University of Education, succeeding Senator Joy Emodi. Senator Stalls is a council member at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Additionally, Olugbenga Koyi, a current council member at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, has been appointed the new Pro-Chancellor of Nnamdi Azikiwe University in Awka, Anambra State. All appointments and reassignment duties are effective immediately. President Tinubu emphasizes that these changes reflect his administration's commitment to revitalizing Nigeria's higher education system through dynamic leadership and accountability. A release by Bayo Nanuga, Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, indicates that the restructuring aims to strengthen governance and academic excellence within Nigeria's tertiary education sector.
Meanwhile, the National Council on Education, NCE, is advocating a strategic restructuring of Nigeria's education system to prioritize human capacity development driven by innovation, technology, and skills. This, they say, is essential to adopting a modern and adaptive approach to the sector's evolving challenges. Let's hear it from Zaret Digmop.
For years, Nigeria's education sector faced significant hurdles, and while the challenges remain daunting, stakeholders at this year's National Council on Education meeting are determined to devise effective strategies to tackle them head-on. Their goal is not just to improve the system, but to ensure its long-term sustainability and relevance in a rapidly changing world.
Dilapidated schools, structures, lack of instructional materials, severe shortage of qualified teachers, inadequate teacher training programs, coupled with the socio-economic challenges in basic and post-basic schools across the state, make the teaching and learning very difficult, if not impossible.
We must build a supportive, right-focused educational environment that is dedicated to enhancing the effectiveness and efficiency of education delivery.
Technical education can be said to have contributed to national development as it has become the determinant of cultural and industrial progress.
One of the key recommendations from the deliberations is the adoption of indigenous languages as the medium of instruction at the basic education level. Leveraging the present administration's Nigerian Education Sector Renewal Initiative, the Council aims to equip students with the necessary skills to drive industrialization. In Abuja, Zenred Dingmoon, NT News.
Now, Nigeria is witnessing a surge in reverse medical tourism, with patients from the United States and other countries seeking affordable and high-quality kidney transplants. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports that Vice President Kashmir Shettima made this observation when the Nigerian Association of Nephrology visited him at the presidential villa ahead of the association's 37th scientific conference. The Vice President attributes the choice of Nigeria for treatment to affordability and high-quality expertise within the country's medical community. He recalls healthcare initiatives he had embarked on during his tenure as governor of Borno State, as well as the success of ongoing free maternal care programs. He stresses the need for Nigeria to build its medical workforce, noting that when he was in Borno State as governor, he took 60 female students to study medicine in Sudan. Chairman of the local organizing committee for the 37th Scientific Conference and Annual General Meeting of the Nigeria Association of Nephrology, Dr. Olalekan Olatishe, says the conference with the theme, Revolutionizing Kidney Care in Nigeria, Evidence-Based Innovations, will take place in Abuja from February 19 to 21st, 2025. The association also announces plans to honor Vice President Shettima with the Kidney Champion Award in recognition of his advocacy and direct support for kidney patients as part of its commitment to improving healthcare access. Zenith Medical and Kidney Center recently partnered with Usman Danfodio University Teaching Hospital in Sokoto to perform a successful kidney transplant. Now let's go to Zamfara State, as the government says it is investigating the root cause of the recent fire outbreak at Almajiri School in Kaura Namoda, with a view to taking measures to prevent future occurrences. This is as it bears the medical bills of those injured and promise to support the families of the deceased. Now let's join my colleague in Zamfara State, Mohammed Ahmed Ibrahim in Kaura Namoda, for update on the incident that happened there. Can you tell us what is the mood and how is the Zamfara government handling this situation?
evening, Jumai. As you can see, or as we've been hearing since yesterday when the incidents happened, Zamfara state government, or let's say the local government council, under the able leadership of Monir Maazo Haidara, has responded positively in collaboration with the security agencies, especially the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. And despite the fact that Zamfara state government was able to release out a memo telling the global society what had really happened now to the deputy governor, who is the acting governor of Zamfara State, Malam Mani, went to Kauran Namoda to commiserate with the Kauran Namoda Local Government Council, the Emirates, and the scholars of the Al-Majiri School.
Okay, we hear that some of them are still in the hospital and the government has taken over treatment of the victims of the fire incidents. How are they responding to treatment, and the families? I'm sure they must be going through a lot right now.
Exactly, Jumai. As I'm talking to you since yesterday, when the survivors were picked out, the local government council has taken all the medical treatments seriously. Now, as I'm talking to you, they were in the hospital, Khadija Women and Children Hospital, and the local government is taking charge of all the medical bills and what have you. Actually, this is so traumatized. The family of the victims, the death, and the survivors were seriously in a bad mood. But in fact, as they were, people of Kauran Namoda feel they were heavily affected with these traumatic and horrific incidents.
Thank you so much. We wish them a quick recovery in the hospital, and for those who are dead, we wish them and their families, we commiserate with them, and may their souls rest in peace. Thank you so much.
Amen. Thank you very much, Jumai.
Meanwhile, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu commiserates with Governor and people of Zamfara State over the tragic fire incident at an Islamic school where 17 lives were lost. In a statement she personally signed, the First Lady notes that the incident brings to mind once again the need for precautionary safety measures in all our public facilities. She prays that Almighty Allah gives the family and loved ones of the departed the fortitude to bear this painful loss and grants the soul of the departed rest in Al-Jannah Firdaus. She expresses hope that such tragic incident will not reoccur, not only in Zamfara State, but all over Nigeria. Now let's bring you up to speed with other news. Now, rather than see the violent practice of female genital mutilation as a problem that affects only women, the world must now wake up and see it for what it is, a human rights issue that affects all, eroding shared values of respect and dignity. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu stated this in a message marking this year's International Day of Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation. She harps on the need for more collective action to protect the rights and dignity of girls and women. State House correspondent Adeni Itaiwo reports.
Despite several efforts to rein in the practice of female genital mutilation, the numbers, which currently stands at over 20 million cases in Nigeria, are yet to add up for the country. It is feared that more than 40 million girls may still be subjected to this hurtful practice by 2030 if necessary steps are not taken.
Fellow Nigerians,
in a message marking this year's celebration of the International Day of Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu says ending FGM can only be achieved by building needed stakeholders coalition.
As we commemorate the 2025 International Day of Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation, FGM, with the theme Stepping Up the Pace, Strengthening Alliances and Building Movements to End FGM, we are reminded of our shared responsibility to protect the rights and dignity of girls and women. Although Nigeria has made significant strides towards eliminating FGM due to the collaborative efforts of the government, UNFPA, UNICEF Joint Program, civil society, traditional institutions, and community leaders, there is still much work to be done. We must recognize that every person, regardless of gender, deserves to live free from fear, discrimination, and violation.
She called on stakeholders to leverage on the theme for the celebration to achieve more for women and girls.
This year's theme calls for renewed commitment, stronger partnerships, and continued investment to end this harmful practice. Together, we will strengthen the movement against FGM by building alliances across sectors, empowering survivors, and ensuring that youth and women lead the charge.
Calling for unity of purpose, she describes the collective voice of Nigerians as the greatest strength for building a future where FGM no longer exists in the country. In the State House, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
And the coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, says President Bola Tinubu's administration is taking significant steps to strengthen Nigeria's healthcare system by increasing financial support for healthcare providers, approving a more than 90% increase in capitation fees and a 378% rise in fee for service payments. The coordinating minister emphasized that this critical adjustment is aimed at easing the financial burden on healthcare providers nationwide, ensuring they have the necessary resources and tools to deliver the highest quality of care to Nigerians enrolled in the scheme.
In tandem with the Health Sector Renewal Investment Initiative and our effort to expand access to affordable and quality healthcare, the NHIA conducted actuarial analysis, and it has now been approved for the capitation to be increased by more than 90% and the fee-for-service tariffs by more than 300%, which will provide the healthcare providers additional revenue flow with the expectation that with that compensation, they will provide quality services for the clients enrolled in NHIA. We have to adjust those tariffs so that we compensate the providers for the care they are providing while ensuring that they deliver quality services to Nigerians.
There will be more reports after this break. Don't go away. You're welcome back. Now let's begin with the legislature in this segment of the news, as senators expressed concern on fire outbreaks and oil spillage in the Niger Delta region and urged authorities to enforce environmental laws. Now, this is sequel to a motion from Senator Epalibo Banigo, who recalls a recent fire as a result of oil spill which caused environmental damage, destruction of property and displacement of the population. Senate also urges NMPCL to take immediate steps to ensure environmental safety. Meanwhile, senators confirmed the appointment of Captain Chris Najomo as Director General, Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. Also confirmed are Tukur Yusuf and Professor Sunday Aja as National Electoral Commissioners of the Independent National Electoral Commission, and Saseyi Ibeyemi as Resident Electoral Commissioner.
The executive will
And
look
the bill
at it and make sure that
serving judicial officers from prosecution by the Code of Conduct Tribunal has scaled second reading in the House of Representatives. This bill, sponsored by federal lawmaker Bob Solomon, generated debate before its referral to the House Committee on Anti-Corruption for further legislative action. National Assembly correspondent Mitere Ikpen has details.
The bill proposes amendment of sections 20 and 24 of the Code of Conduct Bureau and Tribunal Act to forbid the prosecution of a judicial officer before the tribunal unless such judicial officer has been validly removed from office through processes captured in Section 292, subsection 1 of the Constitution. The debate among lawmakers bordered on whether the bill will checkmate the Code of Conduct Tribunal or provide further immunity for public office holders.
When a president weaponized or repurposed the tribunal to remove a sitting chief justice of Nigeria, this bill is meant to cure that.
If you ask any judicial officer not to be allowed to appear before the Code of Conduct, you're already inhibiting process of judicial adjudication.
It is because of political manipulation that we must exclude judicial officers from being tried in the Code of Conduct Tribunal.
We must do everything to protect our judiciary, not to give the judicial officers any immunity, but trying to streamline the process in accordance with the provisions of Section 292 of the Constitution.
To address environmental degradation faced by oil-producing communities, the House asked the federal government to reject divestment applications of international oil companies with outstanding liabilities.
Allowing IOCs to divest without accountability will jeopardize the future of the Niger Delta, undermine Nigerian sovereignty, and burden the Nigerian people with the economic and environmental cost of cleanup.
Lawmakers sought relief for farming communities affected by flood in Kwara State.
Urgent need to investigate abrupt opening and the release of water from the Kainji and Jeba Dam, leading to a flood of about 5,000 hectares of rice plantation in Edumoro and the Patigi local government.
Meanwhile, the House assures Nigerians of due process in the consideration of 31 proposals so far received for the creation of new states.
The committee has reviewed the proposals for the creation of new states in accordance with Section 8, subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
24 bills scaled first reading at Thursday's plenary, including the Compulsory Free Universal Basic Education Act Amendment Bill 2025. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
And we return to the Senate report on seeking solutions to oil spill in the Niger Delta. And the report is by our Senate correspondent, Lami Ali.
In their contributions during debates on the motion, lawmakers painted a picture on the health and other hazards of environmental pollution from oil spill and called for stringent measures.
Long-term effects such as cancer and organ damage.
We need to institute pollution tax in that area. And whatever revenue is generated from that tax should be used to address this type of problems.
Sanctions should be handed to the operator, because if they are very diligent in their operations, they will know that these leakages and spills pose so much danger.
The resolution will go to the executive, and I'm sure by grace of God, the executive will look at it and make sure that the needful is done.
Senate has mandated its Committee on National Security and Intelligence and the Committee on Foreign Affairs to investigate allegations which border on national security in relation to comments credited to the head of state of the Republic of Niger, Brigadier General Abdurrahman Chani.
These motions underscore the Senate's commitment to protecting Nigeria's sovereignty, preserving its international reputations, and fostering peaceful and cooperative relationship with neighboring countries.
The committee will present a report to us in an executive session to be discussed further by the committee of the whole.
Other features at plenary include the confirmation of appointees of President Tinubu for the Independent National Electoral Commission and the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. Bill to establish Federal University of Science and Technology, Kabul, Kano State, sponsored by the Deputy President of the Senate, Barrow Jibrin, has killed second reading.
With emphasis on planning, developmental and adaptive skills in education, engineering, technology, applied science, and allied professional disciplines.
If you want to share ratio to universities, I think between Kano and Jigawa, should be looking for more universities. So because the number of people there, they are very large.
Senator Barrow has also instituted a loan scheme to distribute 5 million naira each, totaling 2.7 billion naira to 558 farmers across the 7 states in the Northwest to boost food security. Meanwhile, Senate Minority Leader Abba Moro says the assent by President Tinubu to establish the North Central Development Commission will bring transformation to the region. The Senate has already created a standing committee for the commission as it awaits appointments of members of board and management. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
From the National Assembly to Borno State, where Governor Babagana Umara Zulum led a delegation from Nigeria to kickstart repatriation of 7,790 refugees in Chad Republic. The refugees, most of them indigenous of Borno, were displaced for nearly 10 years by the insurgency, which affected communities around the Lake Chad Basin. Muhammad Goni reports.
The delegation, which includes the State Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction and the Federal Commissioner, Chief Executive Officer of the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, was received in Bagasola by the Governor of Black Province, Saleh Hagar Tijani. In the first batch of the repatriation exercise, about 1,768 families comprising 7,790 people were returned to Nigeria. Before launching the first batch of the repatriation, the delegation attended signing of a tripartite agreement in Bagasola between governments of Nigeria, Chad and the United Nations High Commission for Refugees. The State Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction signed on behalf of Nigeria, the Governor of Black Province for the Republic of Chad and UNHCR representative in Bagasola, Jeremy Malin, signed for the UN Refugee Agency.
Our major objective is to facilitate the return, and we are here to witness the first batch of the repatriation exercise. And I want to commend the federal government of Chad. And I also want to most respectfully commend the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who has given us all the necessary support in order to facilitate this voluntary return.
State Minister of Humanitarian Affairs commended Borno State Governor Babagana Umar Zulum for the leadership he has been providing in the service of the people of Borno State, describing him as a role model in terms of collaboration with the federal government and for providing all the necessary support. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
Owando PLC says it is rewarding shareholders by giving them an additional 1.28 billion additional shares in stock dividends. The company says the purpose is to distribute more shares to shareholders at no extra cost, making it the biggest shareholder reward in the company's history. It adds that the extra shares will be distributed in 2 tranches, providing more than 10% return on investment, gains on future dividends, preserving the company's cash position, and increase in minority stake shareholders' ownership in 2024. Owando robustly performed beyond expectations, acquiring Nigeria Ajib Oil Company for $783 million amidst a 2024 revenue of 4.1 trillion naira. Its international footprint has resulted in the award of Oil Block KON 13 in Angola's offshore Kwanza Basin, as the group chief executive Wale Tinubu believes that leveraging on operational efficiency, improvement in productivity will be the outcome. And Nestle Nigeria, in partnership with the International Fertilizer Development Center and the CBI Innovation Limited, have created a dairy demonstration farm within the Piakon Kore Grazing Reserve. Deborah Bala Babo reports that the livestock development project aggregates an average of 6,000 liters of fresh milk for 1,600 dairy households. The report.
The project has established 83 dairy cooperatives, 3,000 milk producers, and aggregating over 1 million liters of raw milk, bringing about increase in revenue generation monthly.
Fulani family depends on the milk economy. So if you multiply the milk by 10, what they're earning, you have multiplied incomes 10 times. So it's a huge potential for making a big change in this community.
A feat attributed to the strong support and collaboration with the Federal Capital Development Authority.
I urge Nestle Nigeria and its implementation partner, CBIIL, to continue to work closely with local farmers, research institutions, and policymakers to maximize the impact of this model farm.
Our goal is to achieve a critical mass of milk production of 30,000 liters per day by November 2027 across the FCT and its adjoining dairy farm clusters, thereby making a significant contribution to regional food security.
This outgrower scheme that they're going to be running here is an opportunity for Nigerian livestock farmers to make an extra income, to have a consistent income, and to know what they can do with their livestock.
Structured on 3 pillars to include better milk, feeds, and resilient communities, the project hopes to support the development of dairy value chain and improve the livelihood of pastoralists in Nigeria. In Abuja, Deborah Balagubo, NT News.
Time now for Benny Adams to tell us the latest in the world of business and the positive news from the capital market. Benny?
Yes, Jumai, so much good news as investors are going home with billions of naira. But to start with, the National Insurance Commission, NICOM, and the Federal Road Safety Corps are strengthening collaboration to enhance road safety and enforce compulsory third-party motor insurance across Nigeria. At the joint meeting, they explored various areas of cooperation, emphasizing the need for strict enforcement of compulsory third-party insurance. The collaboration seeks to cap the rising number of uninsured vehicles on Nigerian roads, ensuring that accident victims receive adequate compensation. The move aims to ensure compliance with insurance regulations while promoting the welfare of road users.
Party motor insurance, to be rest assured that the National Insurance Commission is here to enforce any area around claims payment.
And our operatives will continue, they will continue to enforce the third-party insurance, to make it a compliance in our activities to reduce road traffic crashes.
And now to trade around the world, China has filed a complaint with the World Trade Organization against President Trump's 10% tariff increase on Chinese imports and the cancellation of a duty-free exemption for low-value packages. China argues that these actions are protectionist and break WTO rules, being discriminatory and only applying to goods of Chinese origin. The complaint was submitted to the WTO on Wednesday, and it marks the beginning of a dispute process that could lead to a ruling on whether Trump's duties violated trade rules. And however, experts say even if the WTO rules in China's favor, it's unlikely to bring relief. The tariffs, which took effect just after midnight Eastern Time, have caused confusion among shippers and retailers, particularly those using the de minimis exemption for package imports valued under $800. The U.S. Postal Service has also reversed its temporary suspension of parcels from China and Hong Kong, but the situation remains uncertain. China has responded to the tariffs with targeted tariffs on U.S. coal, liquefied natural gas, crude oil, and farm equipment, as well as anti-monopoly investigation into Alphabet Google. The trade tensions between the two nations are likely to continue with potential for further escalation. Now, a quick look at the markets around the globe. The Nigerian equities market sustained its bullish momentum, marking the 4th consecutive session of gains for the week as investors' wealth increased by 65.18 billion naira, with market capitalization closing at 65.29 trillion naira, with the market appreciating by 0.10%. The numbers here is also positive for South Africa, with 0.90%, having recorded 265.75 basis point. But for Tunisia, Tune Index, that is a Tunisian market, it is a negative with 0.16%, having closed at 10,170.64 basis point. Well, this is it on business.
Thank you so much, Benny. We'll take a break now. When we return, more will be coming your way. Don't go away. You're watching NTA Network News. President Bola Tinubu congratulates President of the African Development Bank, AFDB, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, on his 65th birthday. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onaniga, said the President rejoices with the former Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development whose leadership of national and multilateral institutions continues to set new standards of innovativeness, transformation, and sustainable development. President Tinubu affirms that the numerous recognitions and awards bestowed on the versatile and cerebral technocrat are well-deserved, following his track record of inspiring growth and development, mainly targeting the poor and vulnerable to reduce poverty. The president acknowledges Dr. Adesina's impactful leadership at the helm of the AFDB, which took the institution to historic heights by raising the capital base from $93 billion in 2015 to $318 billion. President Tinubu believes the economic diplomacy of the AFDB president has repositioned Nigeria and the whole of Africa for greater prosperity. Similarly, President Bola Tinubu congratulates Adebayo Awoshemi, the Deputy Managing Director of Arise TV, on his 70th birthday. A statement by Bayo Onaniga, Special Advisor to the President, Information and Strategy. President Tinubu highlights Awoshemi's career at the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, where he played a critical role in creating some of the network's most popular broadcasts during the 70s, 80s, and 90s. He also acknowledges Awoshemi's career, the Oil Mineral Producing Areas Development Commission, OMPADEC, and as manager in external and government affairs at ADAX Petroleum. President Tinubu praised for Awoshemi's continued longevity, health, and happiness. Now, the campaign against road traffic crashes in the country has now been taken to motor parks nationwide by Federal Road Safety Corps alongside the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, to rid the parks of sales of drugs and illicit substances with the emphasis of the Don't Drink and Drive agenda. Oyeyemi Ajayi was at the Jabi Park and tells us more.
It might seem like a regular discussion at the park, but moving closer, one could deduce enough that the motive is to positively impact and reorientate these drivers and motorists. A rare visit by the FRSC Corps Marshal to the Jabi Park with a major message against road traffic crashes in the country.
Collaborated together to be here and meet with the members of this garage to be able to partner with them to make sure that we sensitize them, we talk to them about the illicit, the danger, the devastating consequences of using drug while driving.
This is quite a multi-sectoral sensitization that also includes the NDLEA and NESTRA.
The cleanliness of the park is of utmost importance. Touring the park to intimate them on these facts and the well-being of the drivers.
We have noticed over time that the motor parks are housing very dangerous substances as drinks, which are not good for consumption, particularly by persons who are about to take control of vehicles.
Issue of use of drugs, particularly by drivers, is worrisome.
Leverage on our strengths as institutions and make the work a little easier.
As the visitors drive out of the premises, the message is expected to not just remain with these drivers, but carry out their daily activities with safety consciousness to achieve a safe motoring public. Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
We'll take our next break. We'll be right back. Yeah, welcome back. 25 clusters of fashion business executives are to benefit from 10 billion naira grants and loans courtesy of Ethnocentric Limited, Abia State Government, and the Bank of Industry, among other stakeholders. This is a one-stop event that promotes digital advertising, packaging, and brand globalization. Ikechukwu Nduke was there for NTA News.
Grants of 500,000 naira, some 1 million, some 1.5 million.
The target is among fashion designers between ages 18 and 35 to boost the SME status of the state and to nurture young and talented youth on how to leverage on innovation to push the Nigerian brand to the international market.
I made this cloth I'm putting on. A lot of
us here make fabrics that are standard, but we don't have a good market.
We are working to support young people and small business in the fashion ecosystem.
The Abia State government is committing about 10 billion naira to this noble project because the state government wants to continue to maintain a lead in SME development in Nigeria.
And from fashion to security, as the Nigerian police force reaffirms its commitment to tackle cybercrime while urging the public to remain vigilant when engaging in online transactions. Francis Form reports that this was at the parade of 9 suspects apprehended for various cyber-related offenses.
This parade of suspects by the force is another victory for the Nigeria Police Force National Cybercrime Center. This suspect was allegedly caught running an identity theft, scamming an American woman of about $597,000. And these 2 suspects were arrested for creating and distributing compromised financial accounts used in fraudulent transactions worth over 400 million naira.
This is one of the major reasons our country has been placed on grey list. The negative message is that foreign investors will be afraid of coming to Nigeria to partner with us and to do business with us. We are saying no to this.
Other notable cases include a cryptocurrency fraud of about $86,000, where the suspect tricked a victim into activating a phishing link, allowing him to drain the victim's wallet. While these 2 suspects were arrested for hacking and selling stolen Facebook accounts to cyber criminals.
They are targeting mainly women, and of course those that believe that they can go into investment scam and make lots of money. Make sure you share with the Nigerian Police Force National Cybercrime Center, who are out here to help victims of cybercrime.
The police also arrested this suspect for a fraudulent foreign exchange deal involving 234 million naira. Francis from NTA News.
And Francisca is standing by with the latest from the world of sports. Francisca, you take over.
Thank you, Jumai. The leadership of the National Sports Commission has reaffirmed its commitment to fostering grassroots sport development in Nigeria, with focus on empowering the girl child through education, mentorship and empowerment programs. This comes as members of the Association of Former Female Athletes of Nigeria, led by its president, Dr. Toyin Aluko, met with the chairman of the commission, Shehu Diko, and the Director General, Bukola Olopade, to discuss areas of collaboration aimed at achieving these goals and more.
We are open to cross-fertilize ideas and see what we need to do to advance your vision with this association, and also see what you can bring on the table for us to advance the collective good of sports.
We need to form a synergy, a very strong cooperation between the Commission and your group.
Using ourselves as role models to younger ones, even to parents, to see that you can go to school, you can do sport at the same time, go to school.
Meanwhile, the Senior Special Assistant to the President in Grassroots Sport Development, Antonia Denka Adeboye, says sport and education are key elements in President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda for sport development in the country, as evident with the reintroduction of Principals Cup and Headmasters Cup competitions across all schools. Adeboye made the assertion when he featured an NTA Sport 24 magazine program, AM Sports, with Bade Adeleye.
Of infrastructure development, we talk of grassroots competition, we talk of human capital resources. Back in Nigeria, we have to reintroduce school sports. National Sport Commission have now come out to say this openly, that if you want to do sports, you have to match sport together with education and Ministry of Youth Development. It's part of President's agenda, that is a renewed hope agenda, which all these teams must be keen to it. The President is particular about improvement and development of grassroots sport in this country.
More than 200 gold medals will be contested at the scaled-back Glasgow 2026 Commonwealth Games. Swimming, track cycling and parasport will each boast more medalists than in any of the previous 22 iterations of the Games. Athletics will have 2 new events, the mixed 4x400 meter relay and the Commonwealth Mile, which replaces the 1,500 meters. Parasport will be fully integrated across 6 of the 10 disciplines, with a game recorded of 47 medal events in total. But as a sports update is back to Jumai.
Thank you so much. Now let's quickly go to our survey and the outcome of the survey that seeks to know your opinions of which sector would you have preferred to have an increase in the 2025 budget. Let's see how you voted. With 35%, agri sector leads the poll, while power sector gains has 21.2%. 18.8% of you want the health sector to have more in the budget, and 16.2% went for the education sector, while 8.8% of you voted for infrastructure. Now remember, the poll is open. Keep voting on our X media platform and other online handles. Thanks so much for your time. I am Jumai Yusuf.